my junkies, I'm back. I'm in the same clothes, so I'm going to try to shoot all these videos for this week at one time so that I make sure that you guys get a lot of fun videos for this week, okay? So today's video was sparked and inspired by a comment that someone made, and they were actually questioning my belief system. Belief system as far as, because I use different words for different things, okay? And so this video is about why the practicers of law of attraction use a different vocabulary. Now, it just stands the test of time, you guys. I don't know if I could throw out a word to you and I say, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You usually have, because we've been on the earth for a good amount of time, that we've created belief systems for words, right? So when I say God to you, and I say, oh, don't you believe, oh, let's pray to God. You have, whether you, is it Muslim, whether you're a Jew, whether you're, anything that you could throw out, all these different religions, you're going to equate God to a certain belief for yourself. And that's why a lot of times that people that practice the law of attraction change the wording on things, because what it does is it helps to create a new definition. Because the way that I see God and the way that I believe God is now compared to how I believed God was when I was a practicing religious person are two different things. But sometimes when you equate God, or I'm just using God as an example, and why I now use God, source, the universe, is because it helps the viewer, it helps you, and it also helps me as a person that is a very spiritual person to understand concepts and new belief systems and creating new belief systems for myself as far as how I believe about who Christ was, who Jesus was. Because like I said, things are very word related, and we get kind of discombobulated if we start hearing different words of a vocabulary that we're so used to, and then we start hearing different words for those same exact things. But I want you to have a clean slate when it comes to the unit, because you might look at the universe in a completely different way than I look at the universe, and so that's the one thing that I don't want to do as well, is I don't want you to have a belief system such as myself. Do you see what I'm saying? That's more of a freedom of agency kind of thing, that I'm not here to convince you to be or to believe or to worship anything that you want. Or to not worship or to worship, to be religious or not be religious. That's completely up to you. And so I'm just here as an avenue to inspire love and inspire joy and happiness along our transformational journey. And so I think if you can understand that that's the reason that a lot of times people will use that. Like, I've heard like, oh, well, since you went to California or you moved to California, that you believe in New Age stuff. And it's just another way that people tack on certain beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Certain beliefs about what they recognize with that particular word or phrase. And it doesn't really mean anything. It just is a good way of pulling out the dictionary and understanding this is a compilation of exactly what all of these things mean encompassed into one. Does that make sense? Because God to you could be completely different than what God is to me. Some people think trees are God. And so what I'm doing when I use source or the universe, it's a way of me helping to relay a message so that you don't get bogged down with the whole antics of right and wrong and this is good and that's bad and that's not, you don't believe in Jesus and you don't believe in God and you don't believe in religion. Now mind you, if you ask me any of those things, I'm going to do actually a video about who is God, because I think that there's a lot of times that people are very conditioned to believe that things are a certain way. It's just like when someone reads the Bible and why there's so many religions. Have you ever noticed that? It's your concept of it's your subjective view of what you believe about the Bible. And people could be in the same religion and still have this particular book that they believe in, but have completely different, like opposite sides of the spectrum of believing what the actual sentence means. It's very interpretive. I mean, you can create anything that you want. And people have over the span of generations, I mean, centuries and centuries and centuries, worlds upon worlds. And so I just wanted to clarify that and help you understand, like, it's not like I'm some voodoo thing or something like that. It's just me. Actually, plus I love the dictionary, and I'm always, because I'm writing these children's books and poetry and all that, I really love the written word. I love everything. I love language and words and definitions, and my favorite thing is a thesaurus, And so I just want you to see that maybe with a, less of a, with the blinders on. Just kind of open up the blinders and just see, what? It's just a different word. And everything's subjective. You believe one way, I believe another, but just because I use God or I use source or I use the universe doesn't mean that I'm any less of a person, any less spiritual, any less of a godlike person, because we all come to the earth and we all are godlike. Like, even the worst person that you could possibly think of, they are still godlike. We all come to the earth and we have God within us. So I hope that you don't think that, I would just, encourage you to kind of just, remove the blinders a little bit. Maybe you just want to remove this one side blinder and kind of see things in a different light. Maybe that might help. I don't know. But I think for my religious friends, that is something that has come into question. And I just wanted to clarify that. And, people might question me, which they have, and said, do you even believe in God anymore, Raquel? And it's like, if you don't understand that that's everything that I'm all about, is God. God is everything. To me, what my whole channel is about, everything that I try to represent, that's all that I talk about, really, if you think about it. And so it's just kind of interesting that people might not believe that I believe in God. But yes, I do. I believe very highly in it. I believe in it completely and utterly. And so anyway, I hope this served you. And, here's another thing that I wanted to touch on as well, is that if you are a religious person, and I speak from experience, is that if you see people that practice the law of attraction, maybe it's a close family member, maybe it's an ex-spouse, maybe it's a child of yours, and they no longer are living the way that you think that they should live. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they've kind of decided on their own path and their own journey that religion's not for them. Maybe spirituality in this time of their life is not for them as well. And I think that it's important to stretch those spiritual muscles, those godlike muscles that we have, and try to see those people regardless of where they are in their journey and their path, and that they're perfect. I mean, because that's how God, source, the universe, sees every person on the earth. They do not see them without flaws. And so that's our goal, is to be godlike, to bring that inner being within ourselves outwardly, to share that love and to be unconditional in our love towards other people. Because I think that that's a lot of times how very religious people become. And I don't know why I don't know if it's a man kind of driven derivative or what it is, but it just seems to be quite popular with people that are religious, and then therefore have an issue with other people that maybe practice the law of attraction. Because in my opinion, God is very parallel to the whole law of attraction. I mean, it's so beautiful when you start to practice the law of attraction and you realize how God and source plays that part, and that everything like attracts like, and it's just a beautiful way of expression. And I'm just all about it. I'm all about love. And so I just would encourage you to, put on some new, keep those rose-colored glasses on, see them in the way that, the beautiful mermaid inside of you would see them. And that's perfect and magical. And everybody is, So I hope this served you. As always, I love you very much. I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao.